I am here because I'm convinced. I started my clinic 6 years ago, and for me it was I was pretty sure that I will specialize myself in body contouring and, let me say, conservative face contouring. And wherever you deal with contouring and with liposuctions or removing volume, you also deal with skin laxity. So I was just, having a nice overview about the market, meeting a lot of people, meeting a lot of KOLs and salesmen who were in the same position as me right now, and trying to convince me that they have the most, the best performing machines, the most convincing machines, and everybody just was telling me that in terms of skin tightening, their system is like the top notch. Okay, and I just tried to have or create a self overview for myself, and basically I did a checklist like this system, this system, this system, pros, cons. Is this matching to my clinic, to the way I work? Because the questions you have to have are: do you work in GA? Do you work in LA? How are your treatment times? Do you pay your OR room? Like, there are a lot of things which are really have to be taken into consideration if you buy a system, because you can have the best system in the world. If it's like super slow and you pay per minute your team, at the end your revenue as a businessman and as a doctor is not good. And this is what we also have to take a look at. It's not just the result, it's also how we can survive, because we have a lot of competitors, some more, some less, and they have to see, hey, how does it work? Okay, and this is like it's a nice citation from Einstein. It was like that he is not interested in the past and more in the future. So of course, standing still is not an option, and in the world we're living, we're confronted with many new technologies which can have benefits or not for our private clinic. Okay, so today we talk about body and face contouring and the new IgniteRF from InMode. This is me. If you want to see my work, you just can click it and see an IG what I do. I am probably the most frequent RF body user in whole Europe. I do almost 400 cases per year, which is a lot, except the facial cases. So with the facial cases, we are somewhere around 450. And so what I tell you today is based on my experience. It's like you can rely on that. And I don't say everything is perfect. I don't say there are no complications. I don't say it's super easy to use and I give you all this machine and you just start immediately to work with and it works. You need your learning curves, all of you, or not. I don't know where you start at, but I think even if you are a top-notch physician with a lot of experience and you get a new system, you still need a learning curve. It's like, it's normal, So let's talk about the past. I call it just past. So the first skin tightening systems I was confronted with were the laser systems, like mainly the Leonardo laser, which is, I think, the market leader. And there were things I didn't like and I liked. It was easy to use, but the probe applied the heat like in a 360 fashion. The peak heats were not high, so if you work with the laser, you just work in the temperature range between 41 and 65 degrees, and it's really depending on the user. So it can be that you work with the laser, you apply the laser, and you do this nice Instagram shots for everyone to see the diet underlying the skin, but you don't have any effect because you need a certain temperature range, a certain temperature bulk heating to contract the FSN. So there was no temperature control, and in my point of view, it's just effective in combination with liposuction because you don't have so much peak heating. And if you don't be aware of what you're doing, you can get an energy amplification, which at the end lead to significant burns. The results were, like I said, in my point of view, mediocre. Okay, come on, it's like just push the wrong button, but okay. So let's talk about the past, or for some still the present, and honestly, also for me the present until June 2024. So Renuvion, who doesn't know it? Great system, to be honest. Like, I can say almost nothing bad about it. Okay, like, and before I was a BodyTite user, and I tell you why I went for BodyTite and not for Renuvion 2018. But effect-wise and time-wise and result-wise, honestly, good system. Like, and it has, it has its right to be on the market because it works. Okay, we work with a plasma beam. We have this peak heating up to 85 degree and a local FSN targeting. We have no temperature control. It's effective with and without liposuction. It's a monopolar RF flow. Results are good. There's one thing I even didn't like 2018, and it's cooled by gas. Okay, and this is something you should keep in mind. And then we had the BodyTite, the dual sensor FSN skin tightening system from InMode, which was launched at, I think, at the end of 2018, in the beginning of 2019, and which works with a dual temperature control, a bipolar RF flow, where we just induce bulk heating up to 70 degree internally and 42 degree externally. You have always acoustic and a visual control about what you're doing. It's effective without liposuction. It has an FDA approval also for lipolysis, which the other systems don't have, and results were good. And the control I have here, or I had here, like the perceptive end of treatment time for me, and was for me once the reason to go for the BodyTite. There was one thing I didn't like, and it's slow. Like it's compared to the other systems, and especially to the plasma systems with helium and argon, it's very slow, and you need patience to get the same results. Okay, and I don't say that one system is superior or not, because there are like different opinions, and it's also it's really depending on the surgeon himself or herself. May I ask who are here with InMode? Like, who is a BodyTite user here? Perfect. Who is using Renuvion? Okay, man. Yeah. It was slow. So, like I told you, wait, what? I talked about the gas. And this is something which has to be taken really into consideration, because if you work with gas, you talk about argon and you talk about helium. Can anybody tell me where is the difference? Like the one who's typing on the phone right now, like in front of me, 11 o'clock, my friend. No, you don't have to. Like it's a. Honestly, I didn't know it. Like helium and argon, you know what the difference is?
I will let you tell me.
No, I have to look it up too. Okay, so but the numbers tell us everything. The weight, exactly. Helium is much lighter than argon. And then I had to Google again. So what does this mean for me? Okay, so you see these two balloons? One of them is filled with argon and one of them is filled with helium. They're closed completely, okay? If you look at the same balloons, 24 hours later, one lost gas. It's the one with helium. Does anybody know why? I didn't know too. Okay, of course you met Alfredo, you know it, right? You're not allowed to talk. Like anybody else. Okay. So the reason is effusion. What is effusion? No joke. The first thing I did and was this. Listen, no joke. Like it was like exactly like this.
Wait, what does it say? I can't read from here.
Dear ChatGPT, I am Georgie. Okay, looking for the numbers. So I was very bad at school. What is effusion, my dear? So, hi Georgie, no problem at all. I'm here to help you. Effusion refers to the process by which gas molecules escape from a container through a tiny opening into a vacuum or another area with lower pressure. It's often discussed in the context of gas behavior in chemistry or physics. The rate of fusion is influenced by the size of the molecules and the temperature of the gas. If you have any more questions or need further clarification, feel free to ask. So, what does this mean for us? It means that no matter how close your environment is, if you have different pressure zones and if your molecules are small enough and not heavy enough, they can leave this place. It's some kind of magic. I wish people could do this. They can beam each other from 1 to B, okay? But in the human body, it can be disaster. Why? You can have gas in your brain. It's seldom, but it can happen, and this is no joke. I don't want to scare you. It's a very, very rare complication after Renuvion treatments, okay? And if this happens, you can be happy and the gas goes out of your own. If not, you have to have a craniotomy. You open your skull with this, okay? You can have it in your thorax. Same here. It can go away, but it can stay.
And this is actually quite often.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not here to bad mouthing another system. Okay, this is very important for me because I think a lot of systems are good. Okay, I just want to raise awareness for things which can happen. And I think if we work in elective business where people pay a lot of money to us to get a good result and to have the smallest amount of risks, we have to make sure that we can deliver that. Okay, and for me, for example, having the risk of having gas in my brain or in the brain of the patient, it's something which is not acceptable. But this is my personal opinion. Okay, so is he talking bullshit? Of course, I can stay here. I can just show you pictures from Google with gas in some body areas and just selling bullshit. It's okay. It's easy to scare people and to sell shit. It's the way cheap people work. But I don't like cheap work because science is the key. We're all professionals, and I think everything you're saying or doing has to be verified by science. And if you look into it, and if you do your research, you find out that there are many upcoming scientific case reports about gas problems in the body. And in the worst case scenario, and this also happened, you can get, and this happened, an aortal dissection which can be lethal. So, and tell me who is checking your patient's aorta? I don't. You do? You don't know. But if you have a wrong configuration, if you have plaque in your aorta, if you use the wrong system in the wrong time and had just bad luck, this can happen. And I think it's seldom, but it can happen. And I mean, plane crashes are also seldom. We still fly. So it's still okay to use Renuvion, okay, or whatever. But I want to make sure that you just know this. But this is a very, very helium-specific problem. Argon is heavier. Argon really doesn't move. But the problem with argon is that argon causes a lot of seromas, J-plasma, like a lot. And this is something you can also look it up. The seroma rate is pretty high, and it's annoying because they can be like persistent. So let's go back to the past. I talked about two systems I liked, and the biggest common denominator was RF. So I think we have an agreement, RF works somehow. No matter of monopolar or bipolar works, okay? The two leading systems. So what do we want? We want efficiency, we want power, we want accuracy, speed. I sound like a seller, right? But this is the truth. And we want few complications.
It does sound like a car.
So, yeah.
German cars are very good.
I know. So, and we want good long-term results. So, like I said, I want to live in the future. What is the future? We want application or device where we can apply it in LA and GA. We want compatibility with HD lipos, Mr. Fluvio, because we want to work in very thin flaps without any risk. We want to combine it with WHO operations, so weight loss patients. It has to be applicable in every body area. Applicable with and without liposuction, because not everybody is a plastic surgeon. A lot of people just work in the clinic. They don't have the opportunity to have a GA. They want to do this in LA, so they need something which works, and they also want to offer the option to the patients who don't want the lipo to have improvement of the contour without having the invasiveness of a liposuction. Because if you have a liposuction, you need a compression garment for 6 weeks, you have the lipo risk, you have irregularities, dents, blah, 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 blah. But some people just want a to-go treatment. Let me say this, okay? And of course, we don't want any gas. I talk about a lot of things we want, but, okay. But there is also one thing we don't want. Can someone imagine what it is? Okay. We don't want to gamble. I love gambling. I used to gamble a lot with crypto, and I lost everything. But in my profession, in medical business, gambling is a no option. And I'll tell you something. In my clinic, it's very contrary to other people. I have a huge clinic in Germany, but it's empty. I'm not there, not at all. I show up once a week for 5 hours, and I leave. Why is it like this? I have almost 90% of international clients. All my calls are Zoom or meetings or whatever. I have a waiting list of 1 year, so I see them just virtually, and then I forget their names and their faces, and I see them 1 year later and introduce myself new to them because I forgot who they were. They get their treatment and then they leave. I don't see them after the treatment again because I have work also in the hospital. So basically I spend 10 minutes with them in the morning. Hello, my name is Georgie. Can I do the drawings? Sleep tight. After the surgery, I go there. Everything was fine. Yalla, bye. I go, okay? And then they leave to their home countries, like Australia, US, also a lot of UK, Scandinavia. So I need no gambling. I need help me please, I'm German. Thank you so much, okay? This is important, okay? So the idea was to create a system which can, which can cause high temperature, fast temperature peaks with fast cooling, and no gas. Alfredo had the idea to create a system together with Michael and with Steven. Like a couple of years ago when they just tried to improve it, they just tried to combine all the good things of the existing systems and to eliminate the bad things, and maybe it's still not the peak of what they could have created because, for example, I would love to have a temperature control still, and this is not anymore there, okay? But we have a lot of good things which were combined, and these good things were combined with the quantum RF. So this is the new kid on the block on the system of the Ignite system, which is published. So what is a quantum? Because it's a very, very, very abstract word. It sounds super tech and super good, but and again, we asked ChatGPT. So no joke, the name quantum was fed by the characteristics of the system, and at the end, this was ChatGPT's answer, and just InMode just used the word. Okay, so again, we talk about speed, efficiency, and accuracy. Those are the things I told you before we want for our system. So what is this?
Monopolar.
And what is this? It's bipolar. So something didn't change. We still have a bipolar system like the body tight, but the bipolar probes are both internally, not external anymore. So we don't have any temperature control anymore. So long story short, a quantum per definition is the smallest discrete unit of the RF heat effect. So what happens between the probes? The RF flows from A to B. We have our aerospatial ceramic shield between these two probes, and for milliseconds we have temperature peaks which go up to 102 degrees, like the highest you can find in the market, and it cools down immediately on its own because the impulses are so small and so short that there is no chance to create bulk heating. So if you, for example, apply quantum, good morning, my dear. If you apply quantum in the area, it's basically it gets a little bit warm, but not that warm as you're used to, for example, with the body tie. Okay. So this is what happens under your skin, and if you see it outside, it looks very, very, very dramatic because these are the impulses which are happening under your skin. Okay? And you can feel them. So if you're applying the quantum, you can see and feel what is happening under the skin. Like I told you, we have the same ceramic shield, which is, for example, used in aerospace. These are just some tech facts. We have two probes, the RF10, the quantum 10 and the quantum 25, which have different energy characteristics and different length. This is a new platform. It's the IgniteRF, and quantum RF is part of the system. So you go underneath the skin, you apply your short pulses under the skin into the FSN, and you can see and you can feel and you can measure direct skin retraction. Okay, and this is no bullshit, because right now we are working on studies and we are really measuring it. We are measuring treated and non-treated sites. We are measuring the elasticity. We're measuring the contraction. We are measuring like almost everything we can measure on skin to verify to you that the system just works. Okay, and it is important because honestly, wherever I am, and I am like on your place and I watch someone just talking about something, I have thoughts. Like I look everything up. Like I believe no one. Like I'm a super skeptical person. Is it right? Like, yeah, it's crazy with me. Trust me. So this is what happens under your skin. You have directly FSN skin retraction. And when I saw this first, I was like, wait. Like, it looks dramatic, but what happens if there is a nerve or is a vessel somewhere, like it looks dramatic. But the pulses are so small and so short, and the impedance parameters which are set up with the bipolar RF flow are so adjusted to the tissue that it's super duper hard to hurt a vessel. And here on the vessel, it's 2 millimeters, and you can see when I do the same with the monopolar, I burn directly. But with the bipolar, it was almost impossible. So the risk for injuries is very, 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 very low, except you just put your probe, stay in the same position, and just pulls, okay, when no one does this. So this is like a fat piece after tummy tuck, and this is quantum after 1 pass. This is quantum after 6 passes in different layers. So even without liposuction, you have a lipolysis and a contraction up to 25%, which is pretty good because it works immediately. Always don't forget, think 3-dimensional. So if you have a certain layer of fat, it's always important that if you use the quantum, you work in different planes, because if you work in different planes, you have accumulation of the system, you have less risk, and you have a better overall contraction. I don't know if you heard this. Do you hear the crackles? If you put your hand on the probe and you use the system, you feel directly what happens under your skin. It's crazy. We have here a FLIR camera sequence, and you see, no matter how much you apply, we always stay around 30 degrees. So there is no bulk heating, which can lead to necrosis. FSN is what you want to target to. Every pulse has an energy width of 1 cubic centimeter. Okay, so this is important for applying the system, because you have to distribute your pulses. You know, if you do 1 pulse, you have to make sure that in every other dimension you keep a distance of at least 1 centimeter. And it doesn't mean that you cannot go back to this area again. It just means that you have to distribute your heat. So if you use it with liposuction, usually you just do 2 or 3 layers of or treatments of quantum underneath the skin. But we think in levels, because I think it's interesting for us to also work without liposuction. You know, we want to treat, you know, the manager, the mom who can afford take a downtime from 3-4 weeks, just has problems and doesn't expect the best result but a better result, and with a low downtime, and because these are the patients we're targeting to, and so if you see like the whole layer or the whole bulk, you can see that if we apply it in different planes, we can achieve a contraction up to 25%. This is a dynamometer measuring after quantum treatment. So we put the same weight, the same tension on the skin on both sides with a dynamometer, and this was the immediate contraction we had from a non-treated side. And this is not just a picture. There are studies coming which are going to be 100% published in PRS, in AMJS, and they will verify what I'm saying. So with this, we can offer tailored solutions. This is a system, and it's cool because it's not just the quantum. We have also an upgraded body tide. We have upgraded face tide turbo. We have upgraded Morpheus with 2 different probes. So the quantum is 25 centimeters long. This is peak power. It's rigid. It's almost, honestly, it's looking like the Renuvium probe somehow, or a little bit. And it's possible under local anesthesia. What are we going to show? So let's come to the face. Let's go to the quantum RF10. I am not a face guy. I'm a body guy, and honestly, I used to use face tide, not as much as you, Ms. Jaw tide, but I used to use it, and results were great. But my patients are all sleeping; they get multiple zones, and using face tide, demands that you have like different incision zones, that you can move the head, that you work 3-dimensionally. And when they are sleeping on their back and do their bellies, backs, arms, and legs, honestly, I was just too too lazy to wash them again, whatever. Because for me, my time, I just think in time and money, and I'm in the OR, and these things additionally didn't really make sense for me, like to spend 1 hour extra just for FaceTime, not compared to the prices I charge for the other things. Okay, so I got the system in June this year, and by the way, I performed so far over 50 cases, which is, I think, also a lot. So what I'm talking here is just no bullshit. Yeah, the Quantum RF10 is used like the RF25. You can cause directly lipolysis with the system. So even if you don't do any lipo if you have small fat accumulations, you can just use it without lipo. Just quantum, massage it, no suction, that's it. Okay? You can also combine it with suction, then it's even more effective, but it's up to you. It really depends on what you have. Right now, and I can tell you things, right now I stay almost always below the mandibular. I also go into the jowls, but I don't go into the face right now because I'm not used to it. It can work like this, okay? But in the face, because of the impulses, because I'm not a face guy, I'm not a facelift guy, I am cautious, and if I do faces, I'll do face tight still for the face. If I want to go into the face, I stick on face tight. But if it's come just to the neck, I switched completely to quantum, and I tell you why. So I use just a single incision technique. So I just let the people recline their neck. I do one incision here, no more. I marked the jawline before. On the right, you see the whole treatment, which took me, and I swear to God, I can show you the whole video, 6 minutes and 50 seconds. Okay? She was sleeping, obviously, so I just marked her jawline. What I did afterwards, I just infiltrated. Then I used quantum for lipolysis. Then I did a small suction, like just 1 minute. Oh, it gets faster. I think I just I just cut it wrong, but I think it will accelerate. So and I will show you her standing picture because this is like useless. You see, infiltrating a little bit. I think 150 mil from my single port. Then I get the quantum. I'll do 3 passes everywhere. I melt the fat. That's it. You just feel it melting. 2 or 3 passes every line. Then I'll do a small suction. And you see, look at my at my what is it? At here, this plastic thing. What is it called in English? Tube. There was no fat inside. It's just a little, okay? Then I do quantum again.
You're subcutaneous.
Yes. Above, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, same woman, by the way. She came from Australia to me, and this is her before. Do you see her skin laxity here?
Skin.
She had a pre-lipo, and she paid me full. She came to my clinic, like from Sydney. She paid 4K and was like, I want a nice chin. I was like, I want a nice chin too, you know, like, and I told her, listen, it doesn't make sense with the face type because it's loose skin. I have a new system here. I never used it before. It's a try. I don't charge you. I just charge you for the probe. And if it works, you love me. If not, you didn't waste your money. This is the point, okay? This was day 1, like the same day. Useless. Results on day 1, forget them. Can be swelling. Day 3, it was still good. Not so much swelling. I was like, okay. I'm used to have more swelling with the face side before, to be honest. 6 weeks later, it was still good. Okay, it was like, okay. Maybe some fibrosis. Luck. you know. 10 weeks later was still good. And it's a difficult case because we just talk about slightly skin, you know, it's like it's 10 weeks later, it was still good. I mean, it's almost perfect submandibular angle. And I saw her last week, again, after 4 months. Of course, pictures can lie. Now comes the turkey test, TT.
Claire's like itching out of her seat. She's like, can you just do me?
Yeah, but do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's
The results just okay.
it's a good tension test, right? And after 4 months, it's reliable. Okay, and another case. Again here, 7 minutes 58. I can show you the whole video. And by the way, I'll charge almost 5K for that. So for the 7-minute thing, I felt bad, but of course I don't tell the patient that it's just like, it takes 5 minutes, okay? Again, single incision, the same steps, infiltrating, melting, sucking, tightening. That's it. This dimension doesn't really count, but if you see this dimension, you see this is a heavy face. It's not that easy to treat this, okay? And I just stood below the mandibula, and I will show you soon, also again 4 months afterwards. So that's it. And so let's talk about the BodyTite Turbo. I told you the old system, there was only one thing I didn't really like, and it was the speed. So nothing really changed except the color, that it's longer, so you can reach a bigger area with less incisions, and the power doubled. So the BodyTite Turbo is twice as fast and powerful as the old device, okay? And this is good on the one thing and bad on the other hand, because with increasing the power, also the risk of burns is higher if you not aware what you're doing. So you have to be like with 100% concentration if you use the BodyTite Turbo, because its peak power is pretty high, okay? And what I did, I don't use the BodyTite Turbo anymore with the temperature endpoint of 40 or 42. I just use it with okay, I don't. I just use it with an endpoint of 38 degree, because even if I measured it, even if you at 38 degree with the yeah, thank you. If you use it with 38 degree, it still reaches temperatures which are going up to above 40 degree. Okay, so it's longer, it has more power, it's short hook time, it's rigid, and it's black. We have also an updated FaceTite Turbo. It's the same here. It's the system doesn't really change. It's again here the power has doubled. The treatment times are shorter. It's more rigid. You have better control, and for the ones who used FaceTite before, they will love the new system because it's just faster. And I think the speed was the only thing which was, in my point of view, really a contra in the old system. And of course, you will ask me now, if you talk so much about the quantum and so little about the BodyTite, what are you using? Where are the indications? Where should I decide? Where should I use BodyTite? Where I should use quantum? And this is just my personal opinion, okay? It's just it's not InMode's opinion. But I right now ordered over 200 quantum heads, nothing else. I will switch completely to quantum. So for me, in the body area, there is no need to go for body tight anymore, although I think it's more or less same effective, because in my point of view, the quantum is the faster and speedier system, and you can use the quantum for bigger surfaces. I don't want to wait for my 40-degree temperature external. Even if it's fast, I don't want it. If I have a full body, last week I was in Uzbekistan, what the hell, you know, and they presented me a full body 360 case with a BBL and face, and like it was a huge case. It was just a training, you know, and I was there, and suddenly there was no one who could operate it, like, and the patient was sleeping, and they said, you know what, can you do it? So I was not insured. Tell no one. I get like from InMode, you know, and I just did it, and it was a full body quantum case, and I did a removal of 2.8. I did full body quantum. I did her whole neck. I did a BBL, like I did everything, in 2 hours and 50.
Lucky woman.
Yeah, and yeah, she. By the way, is my phone here somewhere? So this was her. One day after.
Oh wow.
Okay, it's swollen, but I mean, you can tell what happens if you work with this fluvial, right? So you know what this is gonna be that bad. Okay. This is her. I also treated her chin. I told you, oh, this is sticky. I told you that you should not believe in one day after results, and you should not. It's bullshit. But you saw in the other case that these are things which can work, you know, even in the long term. And I will update you, but I think for by the way, when I told the Uzbekis I need 5 minutes for that, they were like, here, you know, go back to Germany. You know, we don't believe you. You know, like 5 minutes, you know. And trust me, I agreed to do this because I knew it would just take 5 minutes. Otherwise, I would not have done this. These are the new Morpheus probes. We have we have 2 new modes for body and face. You will get, you know, I would lie here if I would say I'm the Morpheus guy. You know, I want to be authentic. So I just tell to you what we have, what we can do with this, and I'm 100% sure other guys like Fadi or Salva will come in, or Rovati, and they just talk about just Morpheus, okay? But I just want to give you an overview. So these are the new probes. We have 2 new modes. What does this mean for you? Burst and scale. You know that if you do your Morpheus treatments, you have to do one pass and then another pass, and another depth and another energy level. And so this takes time because you have to like treat some zones multiple times to get what you want. And with the new modes, for example, with the burst, you can apply the same energy in different depth with one shot. So it's like 1, 2, 3, for example, and you can obviously set it up where you want your energy. So this saves a lot of time. So this just saves time. If you do the scale mode, you can apply different energy amounts in different depth, like super custom made, okay? And what does this means for you? The probes that didn't really change, but with the new techniques you can use with the old Morpheus, you can create customized treatment plans for the face for every patient. So, of course. Sorry. You're right. Priorities. So, what does this mean? For you, it means that you have to think more. Think more, talk more, and it's very, and you have to train your stuff more, because the new options you have with the new Morpheus give you more varieties and more treatment concepts you can apply to your patient. So you can say, you know what, I have the jowls here. I want here a stack of 4 millimeter with 45 kilojoules. Create some bulk and mass heat here to reduce the jowls here. But I just want skin tightening here, so I just do here burst 2 millimeters, with one shot, 2 passes. You know, like you really have to create treatment zones for every area. And before I can tell in my experience, whether I had to write everything down for the stuff, or I relied on my stuff and they just did something on their own because I don't do morpheus on myself, and this made things sometimes like also for me complicated because the plans were like too complex, and sometimes I just forgot how many passes they did or how many repasses they have to do, like many things. Okay, but I think having the option to provide customized plans is a very nice thing. And the body can go down to 7 millimeters, and we really can melt fat with that. And by the way, the new Morpheus has the FDA approval for skin contraction and lipolysis, like both. So, yes, good, perfect. These results are not from me; they're all from Fadi, because I told you I don't do Morpheus that much in my clinic. This was burst after one treatment, after 6 weeks, I think. This is the doctor himself. 2 sessions, 6 weeks of distance between them. You see here the protocols. Rosacea acne, also a very good indication. Lena, can you take, oh, sorry. Can just someone take a picture and send it to me? It's like, great. I'm using Fadi's picture, so I think it's important to mention him somehow. Yeah, T is on you, Fadi. Like,
My brother's name is Fadi.
Yeah,
It is actually.
by the way, I was yesterday on the way to Winter Wonderland in Hyde Park, right? And I was in a tunnel. And you know, we have 7 QLs worldwide, and one of them is Fadi, and the other one is Jesus from Portugal. And there was a huge spray in the tunnel which said, Fadi will never be Jesus, you know? Like, I mean, how uncommon is this to find both names in a tunnel in England with these 2 names, right? Yeah. I'm a leg guy, and I invented a technique which is called landmark liposuction approach. And if you want to know about this, next week at 11th of December, I have a webinar with Alfredo Hoyos live. And so I will go more into details with that. I think for people who are treating legs, this can be interesting, okay? So I'll treat legs in a 270-degree fashion. So if I get legs, and it's very independent from lipidemia. So if someone wants her legs done, or his legs, I always say, if you want it good, if you want it right, then you need 2 surgeries, because treating legs or arms are very unpopular, because we have 3-dimensional bodies which reflect a lot of shadows and lights, and where every technical mistake is visible instant, and you don't have a big control with about laxity, indentations. Like, you have to work very clean to have good results in these areas. It's nothing you can hide, you know. And so in the first surgery, I do the 270-degree, like the front, and in the second, I do 270 on the back. So I have overlapping areas in the inners and outer areas. You can see between picture 1 and 2, like this was like before, and this was after her first 270, but before her second 270. Okay, so it's called landmark liposuction approach because I suck them to the ground. There are anatomical landmarks you can achieve when you get the right thinness of the tissue, and it's usually the quadriceps shadow, it's the space above the patella, it's the tibial bone. Like, there are things you just go for. It's the Achilles tendon, the bellies of the gastrocnemius, it's the hamstring shadow, like many things I can reconstruct and reliably provide in every patient. So if I do my own technique right, I have basically the same leg and arm shape with every patient, and this is something which will be published soon and was not published before, because and it's nothing really special, but it's a guidance, it's a navigation through this difficult area, you know. And because so far many doctors I know who are treating like legs and arms, just, you know, randomly doing a little bit of inners, randomly doing a little bit of outers, randomly doing a little bit like above the knee. Like the patient tells me, you know what, my knees don't look good, can you do something? The surgeon marks something here and here and just do a bit lipo and removes, let me say, 200 or 300 or maybe 500 cc, and that's it. But this can lead to okay results, but it doesn't respect the understanding that we have three-dimensional corpuses, which have to be treated like this bottle. You know, if I treat just this edge or the outer thighs, but I don't treat really the front thighs, I have a tissue difference. I need a transition zone. I need to adapt this part to this part. And if I have this parts, I have to also adapt this part because I change the proportions. It's very complex, okay? So you see, I get very thin when I work. These are my incision points for surgery 1 and 2, and I reuse my incisions. So if I use like this 6 for the lowers and this 4 for the uppers, and I turn the patients to 3 months later for the second surgery, I use the same incisions, so no new scars, and all my scars are on the sides or inners. So I don't want them to be stigmatized. And you can see here the matching colors of my incision points on the backside. Lena, haben wir noch Ibuprofen dabei? Kann ich eins haben? Das wäre die. So it's really matching, and this system really works, okay? Like I said, if you want to know more, next week the webinar. So with the Quantum Q25, you can see this. This is how I work. So, thank you. I infiltrate. With high pressure. Micro air, yeah.
Does it need to be tumescent or?
Yeah, tumescent have to be. Okay.
What volume?
Sorry?
What kind of volume?
I think for 1.5 per leg. Like low volume. Otherwise, you must do contours. Okay. And you see, I finished one side with my landmarks, and on the one side, I started with the lowers and went to the uppers. On the other leg, I started with the uppers and went to the lowers. So because the landmark thing works no matter where you start, because you have the same endpoints, you know. And this is like. Then I do the quantum everywhere, like full legs in a very short time. And at the end, I also use some Morpheus body on the inner thighs. So I also combine, okay? Keep that in your mind. I will show the results. This is another case. You can see here with my micro air, the layers I am achieving. I'm super thin. You see my cannula everywhere, okay? And listen, I work in extremes, so this is nothing like I want to really show to everybody to follow, although I wish that. But I just show you this because if it works in extremes, it works everywhere. You know, you can cut it down, and keep her also in mind because I will show you her before and afters. Okay. So there are two techniques. We talk about the grid navigation. And we talk about the tenting. So in areas of concerns, in areas of non-adherence, I combine the grid navigation together with the tenting. I will explain you later what does this means. And in very thin flaps, in areas of no concern, I just tent. Grid navigation means that in every grid you have here, with a surrounding of 1 cubic centimeter, you can apply 3 to 6 pulses deep in the same area to contract the FSN. Okay? This without any serious indentation, serious burn risk. Like it's it's almost zero. Okay? And then I do a superficial layer of tenting above this. So I work in different planes to get accumulation of my retraction. Okay? Grid navigation and tenting. You can see here I'm grid navigate on the right, and when I did the grid navigation, I'm tenting superficially. So I attack 2 different areas. So body tie technique didn't really change. You can see here I work in temperature zones, and my external endpoint is my skin external. This is the way how I work there with the body tight. I combine it also with Morpheus sometimes. And now comes one very interesting video. And I know it will bore you for a second, and bores me too. I'm also tired, trust me, I didn't sleep really. But I think if you are a previous body tight user, it's important for you to see this video, because you see here it's 20 past 2, right? I finish the light post and I start body tightening, full legs after I think 6,700 cc of fat removal, okay? And
Sorry to interrupt. You prefer body type instead of quantum on Ignite?
no, I just use quantum. This was my first start. I was like exploring, because I got the system and I was like with a boy, like what I was like overwhelmed by the speed of the body type in the beginning, and had doubts about the quantum. And the more quantum I used, the more convinced I was, and now I'm getting my results back, and now I see, okay, fuck, it works, like it's good. But
The healing process is so much faster.
exactly.
Much faster.
So
This was with the turbo as well.
sorry?
This was with the turbo as well.
Yes, this is the body type turbo, okay? 4 minutes passed.
Good cameraman.
Huh?
You have a good cameraman.
Yeah, I taught them all but I'm talking to them like monitor now, like you don't see it under my mask. Yeah. And I am forcing her to show the monitor that you see that I am reaching the 40 degree the whole time, like it's otherwise it would be just showing off, So I try to give you really proof of what I'm doing, what I'm believing in. I think this is important because it's a first-hand experience,
So the liposuction you did, how much did you remove?
7,000, I think, 6, 8.
And that your endpoint was?
Here it was 40.
No, your endpoint.
Endpoint is the landmark liposuction approach. You have to see it. It's very anatomical.
In terms of the thickness of the skin.
Yes, and shadows and ankles.
So you reach the thickness of the skin which you marked out.
Yes.
And that's based on the anatomical output.
Exactly.
And then the body type that you're doing after.
Just 1 second. You see, 9 minutes. Finished.
The
Tell
body
me.
type you're doing afterwards.
Yeah.
That's going to contract the skin even more.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So it's going to thin that the endpoint.
A little bit more. Exactly. And
So do you just leave a little bit extra and then tighten it, or do you go straight for it?
you got it exactly. I leave a little bit more because I calculate the melting into it. Also with the quantum.
Okay. The calculation you're doing was about 25%
Mm,
contractions.
10.
10%.
10 after lipo. Without lipo it's more, but with lipo it's less because you just target one plane. You're just under the skin,
Okay. So why don't you just go for the liposuction, reach your endpoint, and leave it at that?
Sorry?
Why don't you just go to the liposuction,
Yeah,
get to your endpoint,
Yeah.
and leave it?
because I want skin retraction.
You want the skin retraction.
So otherwise it doesn't make sense.
Well, no, because you're saying the last 10%. It's only going to be 10%, isn't it?
More or less. Listen, you have to come to me to the OR and I have to show it to you. It's very, very, very theoretical, And if you don't see it, if you don't feel what I mean, yeah, you have to feel it. It's like, tell me.
Can I ask you, those patients who just, let's say they've had lipo historically,
Yeah.
and now they just want a bit of skin tightening. They might have a bit of fat, but they're like very wary that they don't want any lipo. They're
Just-
like, I like the
Just quantum. Just
right?
quantum. That's
And
it.
even though it does a tiny bit of lipolysis, it won't be enough
It's-
to notice because the
listen,
skin tightness
the-
is going
the-
to be more than that.
The lipolysis depends on the speed you're using with the probe. If you're fast with your pulses, 3 pairs, and you maintain your certain speed, you barely have lipolysis. But if you're slow and amplify your pulses, yeah, okay?
Do you think you can do the whole thing
Yeah.
without the liposuction, just with the
No.
quantum, going slowly?
Listen, with every pulse, you just lipolyze 0.08 mil of fat. So we don't, yeah, and we talk about 7 liters.
It's not a huge amount of we're saying lipolysis, but it's not.
No.
So let's say our patients who we've already lipoed, let's say 2 years ago, they're happy, but they want to be a little happier, want a bit of tightening. Well, quantum them,
And-
infusate them, and then
That's it. That,
happier.
that's it. So let's go to the result. This was the second patient. I just want to show you the healing process. These are the first 30 days.
And compression is from day 1.
Yes, 6 weeks. Okay, you can see here, her skin texture. Okay. 4,000 cc. On a side view, you can see the contour. Every irregularity would show up here.
Does it deal with cellulite well?
Sorry?
Cellulite. Does it deal with cellulite well?
Depends. But I think for cellulite, the lipo is the main factor, the key factor in the EVL lipo, you know. This is the contour, and of course, pictures always lie. I don't believe in pictures. So,
I'm jealous.
we talk about 4,000 cc in one surgery, right? So on a tiny woman, it's not that she was like a lot before, okay? And if you see now the zooming into her skin, you see the real skin quality, and she has a very good skin tension. And I am super happy that we are in a world where we can deliver these kind of results, because for these people, like 20 years ago, there was no hope. Like if they had problems, you know, it was difficult, okay? So, not perfect, but I mean, she's from UK, by the way.
She's from the UK.
Yeah. So, again, pictures can lie. We don't like lies. So, you see here her full skin tension. Okay. And this is like it needs a long learning curve, and I'm honest, it's not just the quantum, it's a lot also the lipo, okay? But to combining these techniques in a appropriate and proper way, I think this is the key. And I don't know, I told you I have a webinar with Alfredo next week. I swear to God, I saw him before 7 times and we not even say hello. So it was like, and he reached out to me like 2 months ago, and he was like, Jafar, I just saw your work. I like what you do. It's something very uncommon. It's an extreme, but it's something we don't have really in South America, not in that way. And we have also the same issue. So can we just have an exchange of information? You know, like, would you be happy? I was okay, Alfredo, why not? You know, like, for me, it was like, I mean, I'm a Persian guy from Germany in Bonn, in the middle of nowhere. You know, if like someone like Hoyos tells me like, Georgie, this works, can we exchange? It's for me a proof that what we are doing is not that wrong. You know, it works somehow. Okay, was the first woman you saw in the surgeries. After 1 surgery, this is 2.8 also. You know, very, very, very slim woman, by the way. And if you see the split screen, you can see the differences. I have also videos from her, but you can see here the contour. It's like a perfect convexity of her front thigh. So let's go to arms. Also very, very difficult. Again here, the landmark liposuction approach. You can see here the landmarks. I do always full arms. You can see here the thickness levels I try to achieve. You can see here my incisions. I use 5, 6, and 7 for body tight body tight, and I use 5, 6, 7, 2, and 3 for quantum. With quantum, I do full arms. With body tight, just the back of the arms, because the thickness layers like on 2 and 3 are so thin that the burn risk is too high with body tight, in my point of view, especially with the new one. But again, my personal opinion, okay? I use very, very aggressive cannulas, so 5 millimeter flared and 4 millimeter triport cannulas. The technique, these are the incisions for the arm. I infiltrate under pressure. I separate the fat and the skin from the fascia and from the muscle, so I have a safe area there. I don't infiltrate more than 700 or 800 cc per arm, like full arm. You can see here the whole procedure in a time lapse. Quantum full arms, applying between 700 and 1000 pulses each arm. Great cameraman, right? Woman. Perfect. So this is the tower. For body tight, the technique didn't really change. It's retrograde, slow fanning. Don't be super duper aggressive with that. I used to be, and honestly, I had some small burns. I had my lessons, and I just tried to improve myself, but the burns were small, like not more than 1 centimeter, but I have it, and if they have it, you see a scar, and scars are something you don't want. With Morpheus, like this is like, you see the pulses, it's bursts, I think 753 and 25 kilojoules after lipo. With body tight, you should not go into this zone, because here are the vessels and nerves, and you can have some serious irritations of the nerves. With quantum, intenting is no problem, nothing happens. And when it comes to results, I think they are equal result-wise, but the risk with quantum are less. So this is the reason why I'm switching to quantum completely, because in the arms, I work with super duper thin flaps, and I don't want any burns at all. You can see the whole contour here. Good attachment. I could also call this high def lipo, but I don't, because you can see every muscle shadow. It's just a natural liposuction. Super bad skin, 2.4 liters removal, like a lot. She was super depressed, and now she's dating like hell. You know, like I really changed her life. You know, like yeah. Before she was like replying me immediately when I ask her something. No, nothing. She's just gone, living her life. You know, I did her whole body, like everything. And she's from Sweden. Again, pictures can lie.
Who needs to go to the gym? You just come to Germany.
Videos don't lie. You see here the full tension, the sulcus bicipitalis. You see the shadow of the deltoid. You see the insertion of the triceps. You see a lot of nice structures. This was a quantum RF case. The first two ones were just body tight. 1.6 cc, also a lot. This was after treatment.
Is that with lipo? Sorry.
Lipo and yeah. I mean, we have huge amounts here, you see. And super happy with the result. Again, pictures can lie, videos can't. Nice, right? Like she can work with that. So she's 51, bad skin quality, laxity, fat, 2.2 a lot, a really, really bad case, okay? And the result is probably not perfect, but I mean, she's 51, okay? And you see here again also a perfect attachment of the skin, and the shadows you see here are all transition zones between the muscles. You know, like it's no indentations, and also pretty happy. I like the result. And this is quantum non-lipo from Steven. I think after 2 sessions. This is quantum non-lipo after 2 sessions. Not perfect, but I mean, it's a to-go treatment, so it's okay for her. You see a better contour. Let's come to the body and not to the end. Again, 2 different techniques. We have the tenting technique, and we have the grid navigation. You can combine them. You can create customized plans. This is how I just do the drawings. I just do it for you. Usually I don't draw anymore, because I have it in my mind, okay? But you write down in the beginning. It's good to do this. The pulses you want to apply. You don't, there are areas of non-adherence where I just want to, a massive contraction, and there I just combine the areas. I have areas where just, I have an okay contraction beforehand, so I just do the fanning or the tenting. This was, by the way, 4,200 cc on the belly, which is a lot. And this is not impressive, but it's impressive that it's 4,200 cc, and we don't have any change of the belly button. This is for me the quality criteria. And even on the side view, you can see the same. Body tie techniques didn't really change, except the cannula is longer and you just can reach a bigger space. Here, let's go to results. This is her. Can someone tell me what is this here? Yeah, it was me. Didn't pay attention for 1 second, and I hit the probe with the skin. So it's super hot. You have to really take care of what you're doing in there with the body type turbo, because it doesn't forgive anything. If you hit the skin, you have the burn. Okay, so you always have to keep your layer. This is quantum non-aspirational from Steven. These are things which are possible with quantum and non-aspiration, but I think it's more than 1 session. Thank you, London. Thank you. That's it.